And now let's try and tune in to no good music from an undisclosed location somewhere in New Jersey.
She don't give a crap about her bad reputation.
He can't smile too much, right? Because he's trying to play saxophone.
Yeah. And then there's a guy with a deep voice every once in a while going, yeah. That was his only job.
And I was parking. I look up on a marquee, and there's my name.
He looked like he was out of a horror movie, and he was thinking of something devious.
I'm a rock and roll guy.
Hey everyone, this is Rob.
And Jeremy.
And we are on show 56, and we are remote. We're Zooming it today. It's been a rough month
Trying something
already.
different.
Getting over COVID. Haven't been to work in a week. Had to postpone an interview already. This is the first of two podcasts we're going to do. And this one's just going to be all about like our album anniversaries, new music coming out next month, artist spotlight, and another new segment. And we're going to talk about the Grammys a little bit. By the time you hear this, it'll probably be old news. And if I don't sound as chipper, like I mean, I'm not chipper anyway, but if I sound sleepy, probably need a nap anyway. So we're going to start with albums from 50 years ago. And we are at March 1974. We have some music news. March 2nd, the 16th annual Grammy Awards are presented in Los Angeles. The host was Andy Williams, who actually shares a birthday with me. Stevie Wonder's Inner Visions wins Album of the Year. And Roberta Flack's version of Killing Me Softly with his song wins both Record of the Year and Song of the Year. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that song, that Roberta Flack song, and I don't want to, in a long time.
That's been covered many times too, I think.
This was so long ago. Bette Midler won a Grammy for Best New Artist.
Wow. There you go.
March 3rd, Elvis Presley played 2 shows at the Houston Astrodome, breaking attendance records with 44,000. And March 12th, John Lennon is involved in an altercation with a photographer outside the Troubadour in Los Angeles. Lennon and friend Harry Nilsson have been heckling comedian Tommy Smothers and are forced to leave the club. They were rebels back then. March 16th, Country Music's Grand Ole Opry moves to a new location at Opryland USA Theme Park in Nashville, Tennessee. And March 30th, the Ramones play their first concert at the Performance Studio in New York City.
Very cool.
So albums, we have Rush with their debut, released on March 18th. It was released in Canada by Moon Records, the group's own label, before it was released internationally by Mercury Records. It says later that year, so this is the, I guess, Canadian release date. So it was recorded 5 years after the band's formation. This first release shows much of the hard rock sound typical of many of the popular rock bands emerging earlier in the decade. And Rush were fans of such bands as Led Zeppelin, Yes, Cream, and these influences can be heard in most of the songs on the album. Now, I'm not real familiar with this album, but I do have the CD. So there were no hit songs from this. It was their debut.
Right.
And original drummer was John Russey. He performed all the drum parts on the album, but he was unable to go on extended tours because of complications with his diabetes, and he retired from the band after the album was released.
Wow.
And he also
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and he also worked on lyrics for the album. It says, but never submitted them to the other members of the band. I guess he was working on songs, but they never made it. So the lyrics were instead entirely composed by Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson. And Rutsey was soon replaced by Neil Peart, of course, who served as both drummer and primary lyricist on all subsequent Rush albums. We don't have many good anniversary albums this month. I don't know why, but we have Elvis Good Times.
Okay.
And it's not about the TV show. You know, he didn't do the theme song, I don't think. This is his 12th studio album, released on March 20th, 1974. And the album is made up of first pick songs from a session held at Stax Studios in Memphis in December 73. 2 songs, I've Got a Thing About You Baby and Take Good Care of Her. They were left over from the session at Stax in July of 73. And this was released the same day as Elvis recorded his live on stage in Memphis. So this was that day this was released. That was that show for that album. And the title for this album was taken from the song Talk About the Good Times. And many of the songs are covers of hits at the time, like Spanish Eyes and She Wears My Ring. And it charted low at the time of its release. It was considered typical 1970s Elvis material and was his first album to hit the cutout bins. They would cut the corner of the record, and I think they would be like $1 or something like that.
Okay. Interesting.
They were, let's get rid of these albums. They couldn't sell them for regular price anymore. The album did have some success upon its original release, becoming a Cashbox Country album #1 hit and charting in the top 50 in the UK. Original copies of the LP with the sticker on the cover stating the singles on the album are very rare and sell for a lot of money on auction sites. The song My Boy hit #1 on the adult contemporary charts. And that does it for the albums turning 50, except we have some honorable mentions. We got Queen 2, which is not it's one of the lesser known albums from Queen. I didn't see any songs that were singles off of that one. And we had AEROSMITH, Get Your Wings.
Oh, that's a good album.
Which I think that was an album I got in my mystery box that I bought.
Nice.
And that has Same Old Song and Dance on it. I like that song.
Yep.
Now, 40 years ago is March 1984. We have some news. Sting plays his last concerts with the Police at the end of the Synchronicity tour. Band takes a pause after the tour and only play a few special events together after this until 2007, when they would organize a reunion tour. And Alice Cooper, who has not toured for his last 2 albums, parts ways with his longtime label Warner Brothers, and he goes on hiatus from the music industry. He won't come back till 86. Albums from March 84 this is Spinal Tap. It's a soundtrack to the film, released March 2nd, 1984. And it was re-released in 2000 with lyrics and 2 versions of Christmas with the Devil as bonus tracks. Who can forget these songs? Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight. Heavy Duty. Big Bottom. Sex Farm. And the early hits, Give Me Some Money. And their first hit, Listen to the Flower People. Have you seen Spinal Tap, Jeremy?
I have not.
You have not seen... Oh, that's a podcast.
There we
you
go.
have to Spinal Tap.
Okay.
So the real drummer on the album, his name is Rick Parnell, and he played Mick Shrimpton in the film. And the joke in the film is that each of the drummers don't last that long because they die in different circumstances. And Mick Shrimpton, he dies from spontaneous combustion. But later, when Spinal Tap when they were on tour, they hired this guy, Rick Parnell. Now, Mick Shrimpton he had died in the movie. He was Mick's twin brother, Rick Shrimpton.
Oh, okay.
When they toured.
Nice.
So then we have Berlin, Love Life. Third studio album, new wave band Berlin. Released March 12th, 1984. And 4 singles were released from the album, including No More Words, which became the band's first top 40 single on the US Billboard Hot 100, peaked at number 23. And the second single, Now It's My Turn, peaked at 74. The album became the band's highest charting album on the Billboard 200, peaked at number 23. We have the Cars, Heartbeat City, 5th studio album, another considered new wave band, released March 13th, 1984. And this marks the band's first album not produced by longtime producer Roy Thomas Baker, and instead opting to produce with Robert John Mutt Lang.
Oh.
Has produced a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was considered a comeback album for the Cars. Music critic Robert Christgau noted that the glossy approach has made this the best year for pure pop in damn near 20 years. And it's only fair that they should return so confidently to form. And we had the songs Drive, You Might Think, reaching the top 10. And the album peaked at number 3 on Billboard 200. Honorable mentions, we have Talk Show by the Go-Go's, which had the song Head Over Hills on it. But it was the beginning of the end. It was their third album. The vacation was pretty much over. That's my joke. Yeah, the Go-Go's didn't... I think that was their last... I think they might have released another album like later. I was surprised. I thought they had more albums out, but they didn't.
Oh, they're probably going to do, big movie roles like Clue.
Yeah. Yeah, 30 Seconds of Fame for Jane Whelan.
Yeah. There you go.
And then we have Run DMC, their self-titled album. This album, it was number 14 on the R&B hip-hop album chart. But it was the first rap album which was certified as gold by the RIAA. But it wasn't until their third album, Raising Hell, that was in 1986, where they became a lot bigger. So now we have March 94, music news. We have March 1st, Nirvana play their final concert in Munich. Frank Sinatra receives a Grammy Legend Award. Sinatra's acceptance speech is cut short. Other artists criticized the producer's decision during the show. And Billy Joel, who we'll be talking about a little later, takes extra time to perform his song, The River of Dreams, noting that he is wasting valuable airtime. So because Sinatra was cut short, he decided to go longer and kind of mess with them. March 18th, Courtney Love calls the police, fearing that her husband, Kurt Cobain, is suicidal. Police confiscate 4 guns and 25 boxes of ammo from Cobain's home, which was most likely planted by Courtney Love. This is the start of her gaslighting Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Who knows? March 31st, Madonna was on The Late Show with David Letterman, and she made headlines with her profanity-laced interview. And Robin Williams, I guess he was also on the show, later describes the segment as Battle of Wits with an Unarmed Woman. Put Madonna down. Okay, we have albums from March 94. We got Beck, Mellow Gold. It's his third studio album, released on March 1st, 94. Critics noted the album's hybrid of various styles, including rock, hip-hop, folk, blues, psychedelia, and country, as well as ironic, witty lyrics. And as of July 2008, Mellow Gold has sold over 1.2 million copies.
Did that have Loser on the album?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a funny fact about that song.
Okay.
You know the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
They wanted to use that song in the movie, and Beck thought that it would be a bad fit and chose not to have the song used in the film.
Oh, wow. So it could have been even
obviously,
bigger.
You got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's good.
I stumbled upon that a couple of days ago. I thought it was interesting for us as well.
Yeah, it's weird how people make decisions based on whatever he was thinking at the time. Maybe he didn't want to be too commercial. I mean, Beck is still not as big as he was, and that song went on to become, a big song. Now there's a robot on the cover. It was it's a weird cover, created by Eddie Lopez. The robot's name is actually Survivor from the Nuclear Bomb. That's the name of the robot. And in 1994 interview with Rolling Stone, Beck said of the album, the whole concept of mellow gold, I want to call it mellow yellow, but it's mellow gold, is that it's like a satanic K-Tel record that's been found in a trash dumpster, quite matter-of-factly. This is weird, because this whole thing, how he describes the album, I don't know what he was on, but he says a few people have molested it and slept with it and half swallowed it before spitting it out. Someone played poker with it. Someone tried to smoke it. It's trying to rhyme there. Then the record was taken to Morocco and covered with hummus and tabbouleh. I don't know what that is. It goes on. Then this is them asking him what he thought of how he could describe the album. Then it was flown back to a convention of water skiers who skied on it and played frisbee with it. Then the record was put on the turntable, and the original K-Tel album had reached a whole new level. So there you go. I don't know. Now, this was recorded at his friend's house using a 4-track, which is interesting. Because I want to say, I don't remember the whole album, but I think it has that kind of garage band, not garage band, but kind of, it's not overproduced. And then we have 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, this second studio album released on March 8th. And it's described as a concept album detailing the self-destruction of a man from the beginning of his misanthropic downward spiral to his suicidal breaking point. So it says the album was a commercial success. I don't have numbers here, but I think I had that album because I think the first one was Pretty Hate Machine. We got Soundgarden, Super Unknown, and I had the CD. I think I still do. This is a great album. It's the 4th studio album by Soundgarden, released March 8th. It says Super Unknown retained the heaviness of the band's earlier releases while displaying a more diverse range of influences. It became the band's breakthrough album, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 310,000 copies in its opening week, and 5 singles were released: The Day I Tried to Live, My Wave, Fell on Black Days, Spoon Man, and Black Hole Sun. The latter of 2, which won Grammy Awards. And in April 2019, it was ranked number 9 on Rolling Stone's 50 Greatest Grunge Albums list. Number 9. We have one more, and I only have it on here because I've always loved this band, and it's Pink Floyd, The Division Bell.
I love that album. That's one of my favorites.
And it's the 14th album, released March 28th, 94. It's the second Pink Floyd album recorded without founding member Roger Waters. It was written mostly by guitarist and singer David Gilmour and keyboardist Richard Wright. And it features Wright's first lead vocal on a Pink Floyd album since The Dark Side of the Moon, which was in 1973. And Gilmour's fiancée, the novelist Polly Sampson, co-wrote many of the lyrics, which deal with themes of communication. It was the last Pink Floyd studio album to be composed of entirely new material, and the last recorded with Wright, who died in 2008. Now, it received mixed reviews, but it did reach number 1 in more than 10 countries, including the UK and the US. And in the US, it was certified double platinum in 1994 and triple platinum in 99. Wow. And Pink Floyd promoted it with a tour of the US and Europe. And the tour sold more than 5 million tickets and made around $100 million in gross income. So it sounded like a pretty good success for David Gilmour.
For sure.
And Roger Walters is still performing and giving his opinions. Very political. I love Pink Floyd, though. I listened to Dark Side of the Moon the other night. Again.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
I don't know how many times. And I have the CD, and I have to say, even the CD, you know, because I'm really into albums and vinyl, but the CD, I don't know, just, it's so clear, and so it's a brilliant album.
Yep.
You know, just
can't go wrong with that album.
Yeah. I mean, Pink Floyd is not it's not a pop band, you know, there's a lot to Pink Floyd, right, lyrically, musically, unless it's like, you know, Wish You Were Here or something like that. You can just pick up a guitar, I think, and play a lot of the Pink Floyd songs. There's a lot going on there. Okay, so that does it for our album anniversaries.
Some of those 30-year albums hit close to home, man. Doesn't feel like they should be that old.
Yeah.
Ooh, especially Nine Inch Nails. It's like, wow. They're still putting out, not that that means anything, but when you say Soundgarden, I can kind of put that in the memory bank because of, you know, events that happen. But I don't know, Nine Inch Nails is like, damn, I can't believe they've been around for 30 plus years already.
Yeah, you were pretty young in the 90s. For me, I was just engaged or married, but I switched to grunge, you know, in the 90s, and it still it's still for me to think it was 30 years ago too, because I was in my 20s, well, late 20s, but
hey, that was your 20s.
Okay, next we have new albums for March 2024. So March 4th, we have someone that I haven't heard of in a long time, and it's Bruce Hornsby. And it's Bruce Hornsby and Y Music, and it looks like it's a band called BRHYM. I think it's a combination of Bruce Hornsby and Y Music. I don't know who Y Music is. It's weird because it's called Deep Sea Vents. I think there's a single release. There must be, because I listened to one of the songs. Okay. And it's kind of, all I can say is like electronic jazz. Music.
All right.
It's not your typical Bruce Hornsby. I don't remember if there's any lyrics even. So that's March 1st. Then we have Liam Gallagher, who I love Oasis.
Yep.
And I like Liam more than Noel. Noel has put out some good albums, but I don't know why. Liam is probably because Liam's like the bad guy.
The villain.
Yeah. He's putting out this album with John Squire. Now, John Squire, if no one knows, is from a band called the Stone Roses, which I believe were a 90s band. I want to say. Yeah. Maybe the 2000s.
I've heard of them before. Yeah.
Now,
is he any relation to Billy Squire or no?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
Whenever Liam or Noel sing, it kind of sounds like Oasis to me anyway. But this is just
agreed.
This is just like not really. It's rock, but it's kind of, I'd say, smooth rock, maybe poppy kind of rock. Now Liam has been pretty prolific the last 5 years. He releasing solo albums like every other year since 2017. Maybe most people don't know. It's his last solo album. I don't know the name of it, but it's really good. I don't know why you don't see him anywhere. You don't see him.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he's toured, but you don't see him on Jimmy Fallon, or as far as I know, which makes me think there's a new Rod Stewart album coming out.
Right.
And unfortunately, I should know the date of it, but I don't. And it's a swing album, and it's Jules Holland and Jules Holland's band, who we talked to, the bass player from that band, Dave Swift, who I've become kind of friends with. It made me remember because Rod Stewart and Jules Holland were on, I think, Jimmy Fallon last week, which I have to watch. Oh, I do have a note on here. There's a song called Just Another Rainbow off this Liam Gallagher, John Squire album. Song starts out kind of dreamy, then breaks into a nice, like, I have riff here and nice guitar solo. It's a 5-minute song. It's a really good song, Just Another Rainbow. Now, the next two bands I've never heard of, but Jeremy, you should give these a listen. I have these on here just to make me laugh. Mannequin Pussy.
All right.
I Got Heaven. I'm not making these up. It sounds like I am, but Pissed Jeans. Half Divorced.
Oh, yes.
That's off a Sub Pop label there. Pissed Jeans. Check them out. Actually, I didn't listen to them, so I don't know what they sound like. Now we have the band Bleachers. I don't know if you heard of the band Bleachers, Jeremy. This comes out March 8th. Should check them out because the lead singer is Jack Antonoff. Jack Antonoff is Taylor Swift's friend. And he helps her. I don't know if he produces. He was with her at the Grammys.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was tagging along at the Grammys with her. Now, I don't know if Taylor's on his album. This album is self-titled, which I always found it strange with a band. They've been around 10 years now to all of a sudden put out a self-titled album. It's like, I can't think of a title, you know. We have Ariana Grande, who I'm not really a fan of, but maybe some of our listeners are. Eternal Sunshine. Here's an old band, the Jesus and Mary Chain. Glasgow Eyes. Might check that out. Kim Gordon, who is from Sonic Youth. That's an old band.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yes, it is.
She has an album, The Collective. I listened to her single Bye Bye. She is a strange person. Sonic Youth was a strange band. I had one of their albums, and it was like nothing I had ever heard before. And it's so hard to describe. They aren't your typical, verse, chorus, verse, bridge. That it's just one of those bands that are a little bit all over the place. Yeah. So this song I have here, I think 9 Inch Nails meets Laurie Anderson. If anyone knows Laurie Anderson, it's like more theatrical kind of music.
Okay. Like
spoken word. This is like spoken word with some industrial sounds going on in the background because Kim Gordon can't really, nothing against her, but she can't really sing. She kind of sings. And that's what Laurie Anderson, I think, did. And then we have a band that I've just recently started liking is the Libertines. All Quiet on the Eastern Esplanade. This says it's on Casablanca Records. I didn't even know they were still. It says Casablanca / Republic. Maybe Ken, friend Ken Vale, he can tell us. He knows Casablanca Records, very well. Kiss was on there.
Nice.
March 15th, we had the Black Crowes. They're back with Happiness Bastards.
I've seen that one. Mm-hmm. And that's one I want to check out for sure.
Yeah. Their last album was 15 years ago. They're almost like Oasis, like with the Fighting Brothers. They separated for 3 years in 2012, got back together. They fought again in 2000. I have notes here. They fought again in 2015. They got back together in 2019. So there you go. And we got Justin Timberlake, who I'm not interested at all. And I don't know. He's a funny guy. Him and Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Doing their Bee Gees thing on SNL a couple weeks ago. But his album is everything I thought it was. So maybe the album's something maybe I thought it was, and it's not. Maybe it's everything I thought it was, and then I wouldn't like it. Yeah, that's the name of the album. March 22nd. Let's see. This is a artist. I just checked it. Julia Holter, her name is. Something in the Room She Moves, it's called. I listen as kind of interesting. She's been described as Susie Sue, from the Susie and the Banshees, meets Kate Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the single Sun Girl I did listen to kind of reminded me of when I was into Enya. I would actually listen to Enya a lot at one time. I had my phases, like I said.
Yeah.
If anyone's keeping notes, I had my Barry Manilow phase, my Air Supply phase, which I don't like to talk about anymore. I've been told not to talk about that anymore. She also sounds like, is her name Sade? S-A-D-E? Sade?
Something like that. Yeah.
I have here, it's soothing and disturbing music at the same time. So, Sun Girl, check that out. Now there's She Nut. This is another new one. The Demarcation EP. I have the feeling we'll be reviewing this one in the next album roulette. This is, don't listen to, I'm going to tell, I have this on here because if She Nut comes up, and you're like, oh, what is this? Do not listen to this. Because the single is Condoleezza, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of N-words, so don't.
Oh, geez.
Don't be humming this one, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
I was kind of shocked, not shocked, but And then we have March 29th, Sheryl Crow, Evolution. Now, I don't have the singles listed here, but there's two singles. The one is called Alarm Clock, and I think it's the worst. I think it's up there now with one of the worst songs I've ever heard. Oh my God. It's literally a song about her alarm clock going off. But the chorus is so annoying. It's annoying. And then I saw her, might have been on Instagram or TikTok. I think she's on TikTok now, Sheryl Crow. And she had her guitar and she was doing that song. It's just as annoying as the recorded version. So that's new stuff coming out. I'm sure we probably missed a couple things. I know Green Day, the new album, Saviors, which I really like, came out already. Now I'm going to talk about, this is our segment, Artist Spotlight. And this is probably, again, when, this album came out on a Friday and I just, what's this? Started listening to it. And it is a jazz singer from Iceland. You don't hear too many jazz singers from Iceland. She is from Reykjavik, which I don't know Iceland. I've only been to the airport. So I assume there's just one town because all I hear is Reykjavik, and that's where Bjork is from.
Okay.
I just imagine there's like one big town in Iceland. I don't know. I'm sure there's other towns. So her name, now I was mispronouncing it wrong. It's Laufe. So you want to call her Laufey, right? Laufey. But it's Laufey, because it's Icelandic. Right? Her father's Icelandic, her mother's Chinese. Now, she achieved prominence in the early 2020s for her success as a jazz artist, and critics noting that her jazz-inflected songs have received considerable success for a genre that has largely declined commercially. And I actually, hold on a minute. I know our listeners can't see this, but no, she's not naked on the cover. She's like a mermaid. A little silver star there.
Star earring, yeah.
This is on orange vinyl. And I think you can only get this album from her website. I don't know where it came from. Oh, no, I think I have it here. Yeah, I'll tell you about it in a minute. She performed she played the cello with the Iceland Symphony Orchestra at age 15. And she was a finalist on Iceland's Got Talent. Bet you didn't know there was an Iceland's Got Talent.
I had no idea.
But she was a finalist in 2014. And before, she was a semifinalist on The Voice Iceland. There's a Voice Iceland. That was in 2015. So we don't think about these things, in the U.S.
Not at all. Yeah.
I mean, I know there's English versions of shows, but you don't think maybe there's Irish versions. Maybe there's maybe Italy's Got Talent. There's probably,
Right.
And then she released her debut EP, Typical of Me, in 2021. She graduated from the Berklee College of Music in Boston, believe it or not. This is her second album, Bewitched, which I'm talking about, came out last year. And with a single From the Start, finding chart success in Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. And believe it or not, I was very surprised because, like I said, I've liked her since last year. And I got this album maybe a month or two ago. And then with the Grammys, she won a Grammy Award for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album. And then making her the youngest winner in that category. I should be a music, I should work for a record company, even though she already put out the album. But I don't know. Although she was influenced by and played classical music from an early age, she turned to her father's records of female jazz musicians, such as Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, to develop her musical style. And she has cited Fitzgerald and Chet Baker as her biggest artistic influences. I think there's a song in here that Chet Baker did do, because I also like Chet Baker. I don't know. There's some jazz standards on this album. She has a very pleasant voice. There's some songs on here I just simply love. I mean, I've listened to this album like 3 times since I got it. You know, which says something. I mean, if I'm at the computer doing stuff and I'll put this album, I've been putting this album on. I just love it. Now, she also cites Taylor Swift, Norah Jones, and Adele as inspirations. She said, Taylor Swift has done for pop and country what I hope to do for jazz. So maybe she'll be dating a, football player soon in the future. Who knows? You can find her website at Laufey, which is Laufey, laufeymusic.com. There is a silver vinyl, which is sold out. And she only has a CD available. And you can stream the album, of course. Now, I got this vinyl, which I was going to say, I want to tell you about darksiderecords.com. It's legit. They have, anything and everything there as far as vinyl. I don't know if they sell CDs or just vinyl. I know they also sell other stuff. I think they sell T-shirts, like rock shirts and stuff like that. Okay. But I got this for $28. Which is actually a pretty good price for a new album. And especially on a color vinyl. And, plus the shipping. Shipping was probably $8. But I've seen it on eBay going for $50. So that's the thing. You got to look around. So anyone that collects vinyl, check out darksiderecords.com. So that was our artist spotlight. Laufey, Laufey. Check her out. Even if you don't like jazz, if you just like good vocalists, I don't know. Some people only listen to, I really believe some people only listen to certain types of music. They don't, like you told me, you don't like instrumental, but I'm sure there's some instrumental stuff that, like soundtracks. Like, I know you love Edward Scissorhands, so, I have that on CD.
Yep, for sure.
Next, I want to talk about the Grammys. Now, did you watch any of the Grammys, Jeremy?
I did not.
What? Now, I don't sit there and watch entire award shows anymore. My wife and I have too many TV shows that we have, that we watch. Sundays are, our reality TV night. 90 Day Fiancé. We have a schedule.
Yeah.
So I did put this on in the beginning, and then I put it on towards the end. Trevor Noah was the host. He used to have his own show. I don't know where he is, what he does now. I used to listen to him.
Where are they now?
Political guy, but it was kind of cool. He was, instead of him being up on the stage telling, making fun of people, he was on the floor making fun of people, walking around the tables. The weirdest thing, though, nice. The show had already started. We're like 5 minutes in, maybe. And here's Taylor Swift walking through the middle of the room with an entourage. It's like, you and I like Taylor Swift, but I'm like, I can't say I think I'm getting sick of the coverage, the media coverage. It's a little too much. Lenny Kravitz was there, who he's got sunglasses on. He wasn't even being nominated, I think, for anything. He's got he's wearing leather. I think he thought he was getting an award or something. I don't know what's going on. But have you seen Lenny Kravitz?
No.
I think he's
not
a couple years
anyway.
Younger than me. He has not aged in 30 years. Like, what is going on, right? I remember back when he said, "Are you going to go my way?" And I didn't take him up on the offer. It's too late now, and we should have all gone with Lenny Kravitz. I don't know where he went. He went to, the Fountain of Youth. We didn't know it.
Apparently.
So now they did have the memorandum or whatever you call it. What is it? And they did mention Melanie. Melanie, we interviewed.
Kaufman, was it? Kinnaman. I was trying to think of her last name. Melanie, it was either like Kaufman or Kinnaman, something like that.
That's not her last name.
Oh. Wasn't she at Woods? She was one of the first people at Woodstock.
Yeah, her last name is Safka.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then.
She just goes by
I know
Melanie.
who.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm thinking of her, but I'm confusing the name with someone else.
And I think, weren't you there when we met her? You were with me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was at Chiller back April last year. And then Matt and I interviewed her. And she wanted us to interview her again, but it was too soon. But I did have her cell number, and we text back and forth a couple of times, but I was very sad to hear her. I know she had some health problems. But she was working on new stuff, and, that's what people still keep doing, what they like to do. So, but I was happy that they mentioned her, and she did play at Woodstock, so she was very well known back in the 70s, but probably one of those people that people have forgotten over time. So, but I think the interview we did was, I think it was in July or August. So, so I turned on Billy the end of the Grammys. Billy Joel actually rewound it because I wanted to see it. And I'm sure everybody knows Billy Joel has a new song called Turn the Lights Back On. Have you heard the song, Jeremy?
I have.
I love this song.
As I say, I really like it.
But I was surprised to find out that he didn't write the song. It sounds it sounds so Billy Joel.
It does.
And people are saying, which I kind of agree, at the Grammys, he didn't sound good singing this song. It's fairly new. Maybe he's never sang it before, because then he closed out the Grammys with "You May Be Right," and he really got into it and really sounded good. But he's done that song 1,000 times.
Yeah, right.
Now, Billy Joel wrote the song. It's weird because when you go on Apple Music, if you look up this song and the lyrics, it tells you underneath the title who wrote it, and it just says Billy Joel. It was written with this guy, Arthur Bacon, Wayne Hector, and the song's producer, Freddie Wexler.
Okay.
And I don't think he's related to Paul Wexler, who we interviewed, who is a producer, right. And his father was Jerry Wexler. But now this guy, Freddie Wexler, he's worked with Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, Post Malone. And he is the person that got Billy Joel to record a new song. Right?
Okay.
And this is amazing because he knew, get this, he knew someone who knew Billy Joel's family doctor. And the doctor urged Billy Joel to meet a kid, in quotes, interested in discussing music near his place out in Sag Harbor. And Billy Joel agreed to go to lunch with this guy.
Interesting.
So Billy Joel doesn't know this guy. Maybe he looked him up, and like I said, he's produced Selena Gomez, Post Malone. Right. So he wasn't some schlub that, you know, had a notebook of songs that he wrote and never part of the music industry or anything. The guy's 37. He's from Los Angeles, but he grew up in New York, and he's been trying to track down Billy Joel for a while. He convinced Billy Joel to sing the lyrics. Like somehow they got into the recording studio, and he told them about this song he wrote, and he'd be perfect for this song. Somehow convinced Billy Joel to sing. And Billy Joel's response after they put it all together, he said, "I don't hate it." That was his response. "I don't hate it." So I'm hoping maybe with the help of this guy, you know, maybe they write together. Maybe it's a combination album. He produces it. I'd love to hear new Billy Joel stuff. I've liked Billy Joel since I was a teen, so long time.
You can't go wrong with any Billy Joel album, typically speaking.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to talk about Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Which people are probably tired of hearing of. And actually, we're recording right now. The day is tonight is the Super Bowl. So we already know that Taylor Swift is going to be there. Do you know that?
Is she? For sure?
Yeah, they're tracking her plane.
Are they really? She was performing in Tokyo last night, right?
She landed,
which is the issue,
like last night or something.
Okay.
So
the whole conflict was, she had like a performance in Tokyo, Japan. I think it was.
You know, she made it back.
But because their time is ahead of us, she was able to get back in time for the Super Bowl, but they weren't sure if she was actually going to be able to make it or do it. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. That I heard that she's back.
I wonder if she spent the, like $6 million for a suite.
Well, no, her boyfriend paid for the suite at the Super Bowl. I heard.
Oh, did he?
For the family.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know.
His family and her family. What I don't know.
The last I had heard, Travis Kelce's mom was saying she was going to be in the stands because she couldn't afford the suite. So I didn't know if he was actually going to one or not.
No, I think they're going to make it happen. I just hope they don't focus too much on. You know, the thing is, even the regular games, they didn't really focus on Taylor Swift. It was the media afterwards.
It's media and then random people that are just angry to be angry.
Yeah. They pulled like one or two photos and then it's all over. Like the whole game was them showing Taylor Swift. So, and she has a right to be there. There was a
website that was tracking her time like on camera. And I want to say the last 4 or 5 games, she averaged like 3.5 seconds for the entire game.
Yeah, I know.
Of being on camera. And everybody, oh my God, all they're just talking about Taylor Swift. And it's like, no, she's literally there for a second.
I think it's them just perpetuating slow news day. And then people pick up on it. And people who kind of knew of Taylor Swift now have an opinion whether they listen to her
Yeah.
music or not, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
So anyway, my thing is, I do think the Grammys are somewhat rigged. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know what the age is, who votes on, who gets a Grammy on the committee. But I think because this was historical with Taylor Swift, most wins for album of the year, I have to say, I do have two other ones to compare her album to, which is Olivia Rodrigo, which I wouldn't say is better than Taylor's album. I think they're on the same,
Right.
It's the same. But Lana Del Rey, I think album was much better. I think Taylor knew this because Taylor brought Lana Del Rey up on stage. I don't know if you saw any of this.
No, I didn't.
Lana Del Rey was sitting at the same table as Taylor. When Taylor got up, of course, Taylor is like shocked. I don't know if it was, real or I don't know. How can you be shocked if, I don't know. I think maybe she was shocked that her album won. I mean, maybe she didn't think it was her best. I don't know. I don't know her opinion on her own album, or if any,
Right.
Some people don't give their own opinions on their own albums, and then people made a big thing about Celine Dion was the one who announced, and Taylor didn't even acknowledge her when she went up on stage. She just took the award. But I think it's the moment. I mean, put yourself in that moment. Everything's going on. You're on live TV. I don't think she was dissing Celine. She was just, Taylor has so much going on. I mean, think about it. In the middle of a tour, she's at the Grammys. It's a big thing.
For sure.
And then afterwards, Taylor that was seen with Celine. So, they kind of, and the rumor was that Celine Dion didn't want to, she's got this condition, some kind of muscular condition where her muscle, everything hurts. So the thing was not to hug Celine, not to even touch her. So that going on.
Right.
Now, Taylor announced her new album, which she did say she wasn't going to announce it unless she won a Grammy, if she was up on stage. And it's called The Tortured Poets Department. So the new album will come out April 19th.
I think we've already gotten the email for the pre-order.
And listeners,
I saw it, and then I think you messaged me.
Yeah. And listeners, don't hate me, but I did pre-order the album. You know what's interesting? I don't own the last album because I really didn't. I mean, maybe I need to listen to it a couple more times. I don't know. Midnights.
Right.
I don't have it. So the awards are what they are. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing giving an award, you being up against other people in the same industry. I mean, Jeremy, imagine if at your job, they gave out awards. And
Yep.
the gift bags were $36,000 gift bag. $36,000. And I know these are companies that probably donated their items sort of as advertising, hoping to get people to buy more. I mean, Jeremy, imagine if you got an award for best brewed coffee in the break area at I know you don't go into work, but just let's say, yeah.
I do a couple days a week.
Yeah. But the guy you work next to, he thought he had the best coffee. So now you got to.
Right.
That's probably why they don't give awards out at. Although on The Office, they had the Dundee Awards. Having to work side by side someone and, you just won an award. But look, you got Taylor Swift sitting with Lana Del Rey at the same table, and she just won a Grammy and Lana didn't. And Lana's hard to read because Lana doesn't show any emotion. No smile, nothing. And then one last thing is about Jay-Z. I really think Beyonce at this point is famous for being famous, which I like to say.
Okay.
There's certain people that are famous for being famous. Now get this, Beyonce has been nominated 88 times. 88. Okay.
Wow.
She has 32 Grammy Awards. 32 Grammy Awards. Okay. And he is complaining that she's never won Album of the Year. But maybe her last album, like a lot of the one song, I think there were 15 writers on her song. So what is Beyonce? But she might as well be doing cover tunes,
Right.
which is fine. I mean, look at Linda Ronstadt. All she did was cover tunes. I don't know if Linda Ronstadt ever won a Grammy. You know, and it's this thing, this thing where the person becomes so huge, so famous, that it's almost a given that everything they do is incredible. That's why I'm not afraid to say I don't like the last Taylor Swift album, because I don't think everything she does is great. So
Right.
I don't know. So that's all I have to say about the awards.
So it's not anything too major, but we've talked about Paramore before on the podcast. So Paramore has declared themselves as freshly independent, and they're going to be the ambassadors for Record Store Day 2024.
They're going to be what?
They're going to be the ambassadors for Record Store Day 2024.
Okay.
So,
what's that mean?
Yeah.
What's that entail? Are they going to show up at one of the Record Store days? I know they have some celebration, maybe in California. I do know they have, sometimes they have bands play.
It's April 20th. Not sure exactly what they're going to do, but I know Record Store Day typically, there's a lot of deals out there from mom and pop shops for music.
Yeah.
Will throw you different sales or coupons or discounts, that type of thing. So I'm not sure if they're going to perform at a store or show up at,
maybe it's a new album.
Various stores, the members.
Maybe it's a special EP, new songs. Who knows?
Yeah, it might be. So anyway, I like Paramore. So I saw that article and I thought it was something interesting. So just wanted to bring it to the attention.
Yeah, it's just weird. They wiped their Instagram. They do have some things on there now, but all the old stuff. I mean, they just put out, didn't their album come out last year? Because that was on your list. It almost made my list.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. But they're freshly independent.
But they just recorded a song for, I wish I could remember what it was. It's a compilation album. That's what they were posting. I forget what it is now.
Interesting.
Okay, so we have our last segment. And it's not really a news segment. It's where we talk about an artist you may not have heard of, but who has contacted, or I have contacted, and we are allowed to play part of their song. So I'm calling this Give It a Listen.
There you go.
And we encourage artists to email us their music, and preferably if it's something they recorded in the last year or two. I have two artists here, but the one is an old friend of mine. So it's from a little bit more than a couple years ago, his song. So you can email us at nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Now, this first song came from my friend Maureen. She's a publicist with Gem Records. And Gem Records is a New Jersey-based record distributor. They have the Gripweeds on there, the Weaklings, which Glenn Burtnick is the bass player for them. He was in Styx for a little while. So they have some good bands on there. And they also have Mark Lindsay, who was the lead singer for Paul Revere and the Raiders. That was a 60s band. So this artist, his name is Paul Collins, not to be confused with Phil Collins. No relation. Now, Paul began his career as a drummer, sometimes singer and songwriter, in an influential Los Angeles power pop trio, The Nerves, alongside Jack Lee and future Plimsolls frontman Peter Case. So the band, The Nerves, best remembered for their song Hanging on the Telephone, which was later made famous by Blondie. And it was written by Jack Lee from The Nerves. So we're talking about Paul here. But in 2011, Green Day launched their American Idiot Broadway musical production. And each night included a live rendition of the song Walking Out on Love, which was written by Paul Collins.
Okay.
And
interesting.
The song was previously recorded by Collins groups The Beat, The Nerves, and The Breakaways. And to celebrate the success of the musical, the Paul Collins Beat, that's the name of the band, joined Green Day on stage for live performances in New York.
Nice.
So this is Paul's new song, new single. It's called I'm the Only One for You, which features Dwight Twilley. Unfortunately passed away in October, and he had some hits in the 70s and 80s. Now, this song is from the LP Stand Back and Take a Good Look. Comes out on February 16th, which is, by the time you hear this, the album will be out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this song has a 50s, 60s kind of feel to it. And it has a chord progression that sounds really familiar to me. Like another song, but I can't figure out what song it sounds like. I'm going to play a little bit of the song that we got permission from Maureen play, and it's called I'm the Only One for You.
Just to give for you. I'm the only one for you. I'm the only one, yeah, I'm the only one for you. Now you could wait a lifetime just to see if I'm the one for you, but I believe.
Okay, so that was I'm the Only One for You. Hope you like that. If you know what that sounds like, email us, because that intro, that riff in the beginning, that dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Jeremy thinks it sounds like REM. So now the second artist to give a listen to, he's an old friend of mine, believe it or not, from back in the late 80s. I say friend, he was a friend of a friend. I may have met him. I don't think I met him more than once. So, but we kind of had a mutual friend in there, but he messaged me on Facebook, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and told me, because he is a DJ on WDIY, which is out of, I don't know if you've heard of that station, Jeremy, it's out of Bethlehem.
Sounds familiar. Okay.
It's like a local, it reaches Easton and doesn't reach, I mean, I don't think you can get it in California. I don't know, unless I think they stream though, anyway. So he's been a DJ there since 1995. Okay. And back in the late 80s, I recorded some, say they were weird. They were stories, like weird stories, but I do music under, like, with them, like background, but it was mostly spoken word. And one thing I did was a recording I called it Squished. Mm-hmm. And it was me imitating John Lennon, talking about reflecting on his time with the Beatles. And it was kind of a somber thing. Wasn't very long. But he told me that he plays that on the radio.
Nice.
When he messaged me, he had played it the night before and actually went on their website, and I saw when he played it. And it's my real name, Rob Lilly.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool that he remembered that. I do have a recording of that, but maybe another podcast will play. I have to go back and listen to see if it's worthy. So anyway, my friend's name is Stuart Brodian. So he's a songwriter, scriptwriter, and like I said, DJ, WDIY, 88.1. And he's on the air on Thursdays from 1 to 4 and Saturdays from 11 to 1 a.m. He ran an independent record label called Mountain Records from 1983 to the early 2000s. And he is from, I'd say he's from, I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but I'm going to say he lives around Bethlehem, Allentown area, Lehigh Valley. And he released music, not of his own, but, bands. And most notably, a guy by the name of G.G. Allen, who was very big in the punk. The guy was out of his mind. I remember my friend Steve, who was a friend with Stuart, liking this guy. The guy would do some vile things on stage. He ended up either killing himself or ODing or something back, a while ago. But anyway, if you look up G.G. Allen, you'll find him. He he had his own group of followers. So Stuart's published 2 books, I'm Not Snooky, or What I Really Think About Society and Why. Here's the Future You Asked For. He also works as a celebrity impersonator. And the celebrity he impersonates is Howard Stern.
Okay.
Stuart is tall and kind of had the hair, still has the hair. And he's appeared on Howard Stern's show. He has appeared on America's Got Talent when Howard Stern was a judge. He said the show's producers flew me out there. I don't know if that was, I guess it was LA. I thought it was in New York, the show, but he produced and aired a comedy TV pilot, Double or Nuttin'. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Stuart. You can find him on Facebook and YouTube. And this is his song. And as Jeremy's girlfriend, Kristen, would say, this has an old-timey sound to it. I'm just kidding, Kristen.
That's funny.
So we're going to let Stuart take us out. We thank everybody for listening today. We'll have another podcast coming out on the movie Footloose. So stay tuned for that. So here's Stuart with his song, Ain't That Kind of Guy. Thank you, everyone. Remember to turn off that TV.
And turn up the music.
You've been listening to No Good Music, intro and exit music by the band 99%. Today's show is produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.